A lot of people ask me, Jay, what's your favorite propane accessory? My honest answer has got to be the tank itself.
Now, before you give me any weird looks, let me explain. I'm an instrumentalist. I love to learn how to play any instrument I can get my hands on. Watching the Guthman competition and presenting at the instrument fair in 2024 made me feel like I was a kid in a candy store. I just wanted to try everything. But while these opportunities are fantastic and inspiring for both novice and expert musicians alike, we only get so many chances like this. The unfortunate reality is that music equipment is expensive, and money can be hard to come by, especially for musicians. It was this realization that spawned my interest in musical instrument design. I didn't want to buy a new instrument for thousands of dollars, play it for 2 hours, and then discover I didn't like it. But some instruments don't even have beginner models, or they're too simple to really enjoy properly. So what do? I could save up and get the real thing and possibly regret it, or I could take things into my own hands. Among the many instruments I designed as a part of this little experiment, I spend most of my time with this one, the Propanophone. Now, for some background, in my undergrad, I was part of a steel band ensemble and wanted something I could use to practice at home. But as a college student, I didn't have a lot of money to blow on a professional set of pans. Even alternative instruments like hand pans were expensive, and tongue drums didn't have enough notes for my purposes. That's when I found Dennis Havlena's instructions for building one of his Hank drums, a simple 8-tongued steel drum made out of a propane cylinder. I built my first one and loved it. When building my second drum, I experimented with adding more notes. I discovered that while the side of the drum isn't perfectly ideal for brilliant high notes, it's a good space for mellow low notes. I spent a long time meticulously designing scales for the drum, where the side notes would be used on both the top and bottom scales. Each side has 2 full octaves with chromatic notes to change scales. Each note was positioned to bring out its clarity and to minimize sympathetic resonance between notes. The tongues can be made in different shapes, and this produces a wide variety of acoustic properties. Each note is tuned by changing the length of the note. Cutting the slits longer makes them flat. It's kind of like taking a plastic ruler and twanging it over the end of a desk. The longer the tongue, the deeper the note. It's physics made visible and audible. And while we're on the topic of theory, this is great for teaching music theory. If you just stick to the notes on the top side of each scale, you can learn how each scale works without having to worry about making the wrong notes. Once you're comfortable improvising with the top notes, you can start adding notes from the sides as well, borrowing notes from neighboring chords and tonalities. And let me tell you, there's a lot of chromatic neighbors to pick from. My newest drum has 32 notes. On either side, you have access to 24 notes, so that means with the 8 on top, you have 16 on the sides. That's a total of 16 notes for the 2 octaves, plus an additional 8 chromatic neighbors. It's a great tool for introducing yourself into chromaticism without getting overwhelmed. And also it lets you play Minecraft music, so that's extra cool. The great part is, the tools are cheap. An angle grinder, hammer, Dremel tool, and hacksaw blade can be bought for under $80, and a new propane cylinder is $60. Half of my drums were made from used cylinders, either left on the side of the road or bought from junk stores for $5. While definitely scarier to work with, there are methods for safely opening and dumping the gas from them, simultaneously building an art installation while removing a piece of explosive junk from the dump. Looking at other alternatives for similar sounding instruments, you'll see that they're easily over $1,000 to get the same number of notes. The difference lies in the fact that they have to use tools like welding machines and heat treating ovens. In other words, keeping it simple keeps it accessible. I also made a hybrid electroacoustic installation using one of the drums, where a second player can select from algorithmically generated chords using computer motion track. Users at the fair commented that it was relaxing, meditative, intuitively collaborative, and encouraged exploration of the body through the sound. In short, I've spent dozens of hours perfecting this instrument, and easily hundreds practicing it. I want to present this instrument at the Guthman to encourage people to look differently at the things they throw away, and to foster longer relationships with materials around them. If a propane accessory can make music, what other pieces of junk might have voices, if we only take the time and effort to free them from the trash heap? Thanks for your time.